Welcome back everyone to another Workshop Wednesday. Today we're looking at some more seized components. These down tube barrel adjusters. If you do have these on your bike, I almost guarantee you these are seized solid. So let's have a look how we're going to get them out. So these things here, especially on an aluminium frame, I think it's safe to say that every single one that's ever come through my workshop, these have been seized up. So they are the same thing as the barrel adjuster on the derailleur. So this side for the rear derailleur, it's not super critical if it is seized. Potentially you could leave it and just use the barrel adjuster on the derailleur. But on the other side for the front derailleur, most bikes you are going to need to use this one. There's alternatives. You can fit an inline barrel adjuster to the cable and that will do the same job. Or some of the newer derailleurs have a tension adjustment on them as well. But let's try and do the job properly and let's try and get these out of the frame and fit some new ones so they're not going to seize again. So I'll show you how to do it. So this is what the part looks like when you get a new one, if you get this one out. It's a very basic screw with a spring in it and it adjusts the tension of the cable. But what happens, this is normally very cheap steel into an aluminium frame. It doesn't get assembled with anti-seize, and aluminium and steel don't like each other when there's no protection between them and they just seize up solid. So we'll try and get this out, but I guarantee you what's going to happen is it's just going to shear off there. We'll have a go. And so for anything that's seized, obviously the first port of action is to try and get some penetrating spray in there. Well, trust me, this is going to do absolutely nothing. Unless you're very lucky, this is going to do absolutely nothing. There's no access to get into really where the threads are. So the spray is RP90, but any sort of penetrating spray should help. But not in this case, it's not going to, trust me. So just let that penetrating spray do its magic for an hour or so. Go and have a cup of tea, whatever. Almost certainly won't do anything on this frame though. We can go to heat. Problem with heat is you're almost certainly going to damage the paint on this. This is a scrap frame, by the way, before anybody starts. This frame is going in the bin. It's got a massive crack in the chainstay, but convenient it's got these in here, which is seized, so we can make a film of it. So yeah, let the penetrating spray do its magic, let it soak in, and cross everything you've got, see if you can undo it. Well, the tool I would recommend you try and use on this one is Knipex, however you want to pronounce it. Parallel pliers, these are brilliant for gripping things like that. Rather than just normal pliers, these are going to give you a much firmer grip because they go parallel like this, so it grips all the way around rather than just sort of pinching at the top. So set them to the correct width, get hold of it and see what happens. So get hold of that there, and unsurprisingly, not doing anything at all. Oh, this one's actually coming out. Can you believe it? Sod's law, this one's actually moving. I can't believe it. Oh no. Right, on the other side I'll show you what you would do if it didn't move, but this one's actually coming out. First time ever. You can see the corrosion in there, it's pretty extensive. Normally not much longer and it would have been seized solid, but I'll show you on the other side what you would normally do. So what would normally happen when they are seized is you start turning this and it literally just shears off like that, so it leaves a piece in the frame. So we're going to take this out now because obviously there's nothing left to grip hold of. It's stuck solid in the frame, so we'll get this piece out now. That's what normally happens. The key to this is one of these. It's a long drill bit. It's not designed to be flexible, but because it's so long, it does have a bit of flex. So the problem is you have to clear this head tube, and without a bit of flex to sort of bend the drill sideways, you quite often end up taking the paint off, which you don't want to do, obviously. Again, like I say, this frame is going in the bin, so I'm just showing you now for argument's sake what you would do. You'd end up taking paint off here, which don't do that. So we're going to try and either put some protection on here or just be very, very careful what you're doing when you're drilling it. I'm just putting some frame protection film on here. So it's like helicopter tape stuff. Not essential. If you just be careful, that's fine. But prevention is better than cure when it comes to paint, that's for sure. So a little bit of cutting fluid's not going to go amiss if you can get it in there. But to be fair, they're very cheap rubbish steel, so they normally go through pretty easily. Again, a bit on your drill bit as well. Not essential, but like I say. And then we're literally just going to drill it out. Like I say, what I'm doing here is put this drill in here. I'm not sure what size this is, I'll put it on the screen now. Put this in here, and I'm just bending this drill bit down like ever so slightly, so I'm clearing this head tube. We're trying going straight, like I say, you're going to hit the frame. So get this in and put a little bit of pressure on it. Just be really careful, obviously. And make sure you got some safety glasses on in case the drill bit decides to explode in your face. And then we're just going to drill it out. Slowly. Just almost took it out with the drill bit on itself now, but if not, you just keep drilling. It's pretty much out now, just by unscrewing it with a drill bit. Even if it didn't unscrew like that, normally it drills through very, very quickly and easily because it's just a very poor quality steel normally. Just clean this hole out now, just a little pipe cleaner. And then we just need to run a tap through it and fit a new one. The next problem you get, obviously, when you're trying to tap it, is obviously your tap, maybe not quite as big as this one, but you're going to really struggle to get that in at a straight line, obviously, so you're not going to be able to do it like that. So the best tool for it is this wearer set here. There's a kit number there. These are brilliant little things. You'll also need one of these tiny little wearer ratchets as well, and then you can get this in here pretty easily. Again, you've got to be careful of the frame that you're not touching it, but this one should go in. And then you just screw this ratchet through. And it just clears out any rubbish that you've got in there. Just reverse the ratchet. It should come out now. So you can screw this in from either side, it doesn't make any difference. And this will just clear out any rubbish that's in there. Probably use an airline, blow this off first. Safety glasses, obviously. I'll say it wasn't the best example to use because I was convinced it's going to be seized solid. I think that's probably the first one I've ever found that's actually moved. Even if you don't really use yours, then at least unscrew them a turn and then put them back in a turn just to keep them moving. And if they move sort of once a year, then they're unlikely to seize permanently. But like I say, the steel that these adjusters are made of is so cheap and nasty that they drill through very, very easily. So the key is really in that longer drill bit, so you've just got a little bit of flex to clear the head tube. And then they normally come out very easily. So the most important part of the job, when you put a new one in, make sure you put some anti-seize in it. Obviously you need some replacement barrel adjusters as well, so just get some anti-seize on the thread and we'll screw this in. And once you clean the threads out, you can just screw in your new barrel adjuster with the anti-seize paste. A bit fiddly to get started. And this little thing here is a little pin, so once you got it in where you want, pull the pin out, like that, and that's set. Screw that all the way in now. And then unscrew it a couple of turns, so when you actually come to use this, you've got adjustment both ways. You don't want it all the way in case you need to actually slacken the cable off. Give yourself some adjustment both ways. And just clean up any rubbish you've got anywhere. Take off your protective tape. You can always leave this on, I guess, if you've got cables rubbing in this area. It's useful stuff to have. So it turns out after all that, me saying they were always seized, that wasn't seized. But I showed you what to do anyway, so like I say, it's pretty straightforward. Get that longer drill piece and you've got a bit of flex in it. So just mask off any areas of the frame, like I say, so just in case you don't notice the drill bit sort of wandering there, you've got a half a chance of saving the paint. So that's the only challenge really, is the access to this can be very, very tight. Depending on the design of the bike, some of these are on the head tube itself and they're pretty straightforward. Some of them are a bit more challenging than this, but with a longer drill bit, normally you can flex around enough just to get it in where it needs to be. So hope that helps you out. And like I say, if you've not used these and they're on your bike, see if you can turn them today, and if you can, unscrew them one turn, screw them back in to where they were, and that'll probably sort you out. But if you ever need to actually remove them when they're seized, that's how you do it. Thanks for watching.